If aliens are registered to vote, they'll vote in substantial numbers. Here, they're registered to vote legally. In many places, you can be sure they're not able to vote legally or register to vote legally, and they're still registered to vote. Data shows that it happens. So the other big news this week, moving on from the Olympics, is the finding by Judicial Watch that 113 non-citizens voted in the D.C. presidential primary this year in 2024. So the law, this is the first election that aliens in Washington, D.C. could vote in. We already uncovered that over 500 registered to vote. Citizens, non-citizens are eligible to register to vote in supposedly only local elections like the D.C. Council and Mayor, and they don't ask if you're here legally or not. So it's not like these are longtime foreign national residents that are only able to vote. Green card holders, which I would find objectionable too, since they're not citizens, but at least they're here legally. They don't care. If you're illegal, you can vote. So we found over 500 registered to vote in a prior Judicial Watch FOIA. And they just told us how many voted. 113 aliens voted in the presidential primary election. And what was curious about the document was they said they voted in this presidential primary election. Well, if they voted in the federal election, it would be a crime. It ought to be a crime locally, but it ain't anymore. So something's got to happen. There's got to be an additional investigation. We had asked for the records back in July. All public records identified the number of non-citizens who voted in the June 2024 primary. We asked for details where they are, and they gave us a list, 113 people. We didn't. We have the list. Anyone can ask for the list, I guess, if they want. But we didn't put it out there because it provided us all the names and addresses of people. We're not going to put their names and addresses up on the internet. But it is a public document, so the government has the information. So it's not like it's not going to be available to anyone else who wants to get it. So I don't know, and it doesn't delineate of those 113 aliens who voted in the presidential primary who are here legally versus who are not here legally. But they're all non-citizens. Based on the updated post-primary data from the spreadsheet, the most recent material we received, we found that the turnout rate in the primary among non-U.S. citizens was 19% compared to the turnout rate among U.S. citizens of 25% or nearly 26%. So what does that show? This shows two things. It could be that they violated the law in allowing them to vote in the presidential primary, although we're not sure about that. So we're trying to get some answers there. But it also shows that if aliens are registered to vote, they'll vote in substantial numbers. Here, they're registered to vote legally. In many places, you can be sure they're not able to vote legally or register to vote legally, and they're still registered to vote. Data shows that it happens. In Ohio, it was just announced that they had to remove or are removing 500 names from the voter rolls of people that they found to be here as non-citizens. But they were registered to vote. They're not supposed to be on the rolls. It happens. As I keep on saying, it's a numbers game. Tens of millions of people are here who are not citizens. A percentage of them are going to register to vote, and then a percentage are going to vote. It's easy. And we're supposed to pretend it doesn't happen. And the law says, well, you can't prove it happens or it happens rarely. We don't know because there's no way to check. And if they want to check, the left throws up hurdles. You know, I'm calling the Biden voter invasion these days the Biden Future Voter Importation Program. I mean, that's what it's about. They want amnesty for these individuals. And by that, that means a pathway to citizenship and voting. And as we see here in Washington, D.C., the extreme left does not believe the franchise should depend on whether you're a citizen or not. So as far as I'm concerned, 113 votes of citizens could have been canceled out as a result of these non-citizens voting. And I think that's an outrage. And I don't care if it's legal or not. I don't think it ought to be. Congress hasn't acted to stop it, even though they could. As I said in the release, the fact that 113 foreign nationals voted in the presidential primary in Washington, D.C. is a national scandal. It's our nation's capital, for heaven's sake. It's an insult to every American voter, the very notion of citizenship. And given what they told us in the documents, it may be a violation of federal law. I mean, and there are a lot of jurisdictions around here in D.C., for instance, that allow non-citizens to vote. And I think they allow it up in Vermont, too. So we're going to keep on keeping on, trying to figure out what's going on and exposing this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.